welcome back to Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach, and I have guest host Gloria De Leon here today. Yes.
Hello.
Hi, jazz hands.
I'm here.
You're here.
I never know exactly where the camera is, so I go real wide.
You're big. You like it big.
I do like it big. Kyla, you got to reel me in.
I do. I mean, I love how spicy you are. Where were you right before this, I guess, is what I should have been asking you.
I was frantically looking for my credit card, which I lost earlier today.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was saying that Gloria was here for the Miss Kelly sex toy show, and ever since then, it's like all we want to do is be blue on the show. We're just feeling blue. The background's blue for you. It's all blue all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's just more fun. Life is more fun that way. I like
a little blue joke.
Yeah.
They're kind of my
faves. They're not even jokes, Kathy. I'm very serious about my blueness.
I mean, yeah, you are. You told the best story at our our Plus Bus pop-up for Fatch.
Oh, the Fatch story.
You don't have to do it here. Maybe we'll do it as an after show little taste. It was amazing and brilliantly received. And it definitely is about liking them big. I'll just say that. But we have a crowded house today. We have two actresses who are amazing singers also who are here today there's a musical going on at Second City called Life in Boobs, and I kind of felt like I dressed appropriately for literally they're hitting my microphone.
Yeah.
That's how high they are today.
I know, that's why the mics need to be like on these suspension things.
Yeah, they need to,
because if they were on the table, we'd just be like,
I'd just be knocking it all over the place. But I got to see as my good friend Kyla Page, Kyla Page Williams, I guess I should say her whole name. I'm like KP. Her and I sing with Our Lady J as background singers, so like we've known each other for a while and like been homies. And then I want to make sure I say her name right, so I have to look. Naomi Murden, not murder, which I kept typing, but Murden. She is so funny and does this number in the show that I can't wait to talk about. It's so, by the way, up your alley.
Up my alley?
Up your alley. Totally your kind of comedy.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm planning to see the show very soon.
Yeah.
My sister last week was like, have you seen this show? It's called Life in Boobs. And she text messaged me and I was like, I did not. So yeah, we're planning to go see it.
Oh, you're going anyway. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Perfect. We won't give it all away. But they're definitely
I mean, I'm sure it's great even if I already know what happens. So
yeah. I mean, you have boobs, so you're probably on the inside track.
Yeah.
See, we told people to put their phone's media on silent, and some people don't really believe you.
We have little gnomes that hide in the background.
Gnomes. They're watching the show too.
Yeah.
Incredible. So I'm a little bit lit because I am going to Vegas this weekend to see Lizzo. And
you're gonna be
by
basking.
some blessing, I'm not sure, guys. Let's say we don't have them, but like we might have VIP tickets, which means that we might get to meet her at a meet and greet. And I don't know. I'm going to be in sequins. That's all I know. I have like 3 different sequin things that I'm bringing with me. I don't know which one I'm going to. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I wake up. What sequined exactly I'm going to want to wear.
You have to cycle through them and see which one feels right.
I mean, there's one that like is obviously like such a statement piece. It would be kind of dumb not to wear it because it's so special. But I wore it for a photo shoot last a couple weekends ago, and I was like, oh, but this isn't as comfortable as I want it to be, like to wear, because it's like actual solid sequin. This is a very important conversation
like one
we're
giant
having.
sequin wrapped around you.
It's like a whole thing. It's just sequins everywhere. They're not the kind that are like the liquid fabric sequins that kind of flow with you. It's like they get caught on crap. My hair's short now, so hopefully that won't be an issue. But because that was one of the problems. I had my hair all big and it was like getting caught in them. It's not fun. So, but I have other sequins that I will try.
But now I'm very curious about this one particular statement sequin dress because
so
I want to see you manage it. You can do it.
You want to watch me?
Yeah.
Listen, I probably will. I might even wear sequins on the plane tomorrow because we're taking like a charter plane. My friend is crazy, and he was like, I didn't feel like driving, so I just bought us tickets. I was like, what?
Yes.
He's like,
well, wear your like casual sequins on the plane.
I definitely have
And
cash.
then
I'll have a
wear
cash
the-
sequin. I'll do
Yeah.
like my rose gold sequin on the
Yeah.
plane. It's a little bit more
Keep
subdued.
it cash. garage. And then once you're there, then, you know, you could use a statement
Silliest
piece.
conversation. But Lizzo is really cool. So, you know, the song Truth Hurts is back on number 1. So, like, if she does it one more week, she has, like, the most weeks at number 1 for a female rap artist ever in the history. She's tied with someone right now. I think it's that Fancy song, which I don't even know who did it, but I know it's I'm so fancy because I would sing it all the time, even though I never heard it. But because everyone would sing it all the time. So Truth Hurts, the first line of it, as Nikki always loves to sing it, our dear Nikki Bailey, I hope she's watching at home. Hi, Nikki. I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. So she said that was inspired from a tweet. And the woman was like, well, if you're using my words, do you think that maybe you could give me credit for it? And she kind of like blew them up over the summer, like in August. And, you know, like nothing really happened. And now that it's like number 1, she's like, yeah, girl, get that credit. She gave her credit.
Wow.
Lyric credit. Isn't that sweet?
She is amazing.
I mean, she's doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know how hard do you know how many people are telling her that's not the right thing and that's not necessary? Girl, I mean, it's that record industry, they are shady. That's true. That's true. I'm banging the table. They're so shady. They are shady.
I mean, really, because I'm assuming from a tweet, it couldn't have been the entire song. So
no, but it's a part. But even when you write with people, other people, even if it's a part of a song or sometimes even an idea, even if it's just like, oh, why don't we write about this kind of breakup, and that's all someone contributes, they can have claim to it. I mean, that's been in the courts. Like that's been. And record companies are crazy about it. Like they're insane.
Well, there's a lot of money involved. So yeah.
Yeah, but also like how much money you need though.
Right.
I mean,
no,
like,
but it doesn't. That's not even the point. It's the fact that there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah. So everybody wants their
And I know. I think that it wasn't necessary, but it was the right thing to do.
I do too.
So hey, good for her.
Lizzo, we love you. I'll see you. I'll see you in Vegas, girl. Whatever. You have a show. Whatever. Gloria just did a play.
Yes.
No, wait a minute. Was this your first play?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't sure because some people don't do play. I have been in shows, a full-length play where someone's like, this is my first play I've ever done.
Wow.
It's crazy working with them.
No,
by the way.
I was thinking actually.
I don't mean to be shady, but it's just a little weird. You're an actor and you made it all the way till now and you never did a play.
Well, that's
like,
why I think that's why the notion was
that's
silly
why you
to me.
laughed. Good. I'm
yeah.
glad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I was thinking just today how being in theater or having my experience lie mainly in theater makes my career somewhat invisible because when I go out for things on screen, no one knows who I am. And it's not that I have a very well-known career in theater, but I have a lot of experience in theater. So I can't use that, like when I'm trying to create reels to market myself, I can't use any of my theater stuff because the majority of the stuff I've done is in theater. Even for this role, they wanted to see what I could do, and I was going to be replacing one of the actresses. I was just understudying her for one night. And so there wasn't really an audition process. They just wanted me to send them something. So I sent them what I had on video, but all of the stuff I have is like comedy stuff from Fatch or other comedy things. And they were like, well, can you do drama? And I was like, they asked, are you comfortable with drama? And I said, absolutely. It's just all my drama stuff is theater based. So I don't have video of it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's good. So you and had you ever understudied before?
Yes, I had, but not a lead role. Okay. I'd understudied like smaller.
Yeah, ones. And you like hopped in real quick. It was a real quick turnaround for
you.
It
was, yeah. It was a week and a half.
And tell the people what it was about and why it was so like apropos.
Well, so this play, it's called La Mujer del Espejo. It's The Woman in the Mirror. And it's a one-act piece that is about a woman who's getting ready to go out on a date. And as she's doing that, she has her sort of body demons, which is personified in one particular person who is played by an actress who is very thin, who has a sculpted body. And that's the only way I can figure out how to phrase it because that's the character that I was playing opposite. And we're both standing up there in our underwear and our bra. And I needed, when I read the script and I knew that I was going to be up there with this woman trying to tell her why it's important that I identify as beautiful and sexy and lovable and wanted, I also needed to feel that the audience understood that I am not a person who is trying to lose weight. I'm not a person who is ashamed when I go out. Like, I wanted them to see what I actually look like. So it was very important to me that the audience see like a fat woman, not the fat, what the quote unquote fat we're used to seeing on TV, which is like just curvy sort of, but someone with like love handles, someone who has like the fat in the places we're not used to seeing. And I wanted to show that. So it was very important to me to play this piece.
That's great. That's great. And that it had to do with body image too. Like that, and you felt like the girl you're understudying probably would not identify as fat, right?
Think that her concept of herself is something I can't really discuss because I don't know. Obviously. I don't know. She's not. I don't think that she is the fat that the average woman identifies with.
Is she plus size?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Yeah. Depending, because bodies are weird, and some are
for sure
different shapes and different.
And by the way, fat women all the time, and non-fat women, people who just like grew up thinking they're fat, wear the wrong size clothes all the time.
Yeah.
Like I definitely was wearing like 2 sizes too big for a while because like once I was like 10 and wearing size 10 clothes, like they were all humongous on me because they were adult clothes, even though I was a child. That's like a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
but
mostly her body type is what I would say is a socially acceptable form of fat, because I feel that it sort of juxtaposed with mine where it's more like just like jiggling everywhere.
I just love you. I know you were so good in that play, and you guys won an award.
We went, so they had a voting process, and they had a judges award, and then they had the audience favorite award, and so they awarded 2 audience favorite awards, and we got one of them.
Because you're the bestest. That's all I'm gonna say.
And it was a good, well written piece.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure. Okay, yeah, sure, it's well written. Good, sure. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it was. Like I'm actually being sincere.
Yeah.
I'm just being a tart right now. I'm feeling like a tart. It's very weird.
Okay.
It's because I'm wearing this like clown dress, and like if you're listening on the podcast, I have like you have to go look at the Instagram pictures of this dress later because I feel like I'm wearing something that like my older sister let me wear, but like I'm walking around with like shoes that are too big, and like I feel like a little girl. Like I don't know, I feel crazy. But you guys keep telling me it looks good, and I'm just gonna embrace.
Your breasts look amazing right now.
The bigness of the dress are matching the bigness of my breasts right now. Thanks, Mom, for watching. So glad. So I lost a night of sleep because one of my new favorite artists, Chica, who's an incredible rapper, and if you don't know her, you should, has a Calvin Klein ad in Times Square. And this girl, who I guess is like well known enough to have like a few thousand followers, I actually couldn't tell you. I'm not going to say her name because I don't really care. But she wrote on a tweet with like that photo. By the way, she's British, so she doesn't even like live in America. But on her Twitter account, she wrote 5 pounds away from diabetes. And then she made it like her cover photo on Twitter. And I don't know like how it like, I don't know how the whole thing started, but it escalated to that. And then of course Chica was like, you came for the wrong one, and there's gonna be a rap about this girl on her album, on her debut album, which is going to be huge. Like she just like went for the wrong one. Like, what are you thinking? So I made the mistake, and I started to get engaged, and I was like, and she kept saying like, she's sending all these people after me just because I have an opinion. She's calling this an opinion that she's saying 5 pounds. Why is this one 5 pounds away from diabetes and on this billboard? Like she's saying that's an opinion, and I'm like, well actually it's not. It's a joke, and it's a mean joke, and it's at someone's expense, and it's because you're probably jealous that she gets to be who she is, and you fight so hard to be yourself in your body and like to be a thin person, and you're wondering why she has the privilege of being on a billboard and you don't, because that's when you're fierce, that's what happens to you, and you're clearly not. Like, anyway, so that, because I commented, it started, and of course they're all British people, so they're not asleep. Like it's like 2 a.m, and like the British people are not asleep; they're awake. And I was up. I'm telling you, I don't know that I slept. Like I was a crazy person, like answering everybody. I just was really engaged.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the fat girls, because you really, when you engage very, very smartly, and you say things that we all wish we could say. So thank you for that, and for letting us sleep while you do the work.
I mean,
Thank you for your service, Kathy. Is what
you're
I'm
welcome.
saying.
The good news is I just kept like dropping like every book that I had, every quote, every thing.
See,
and then I was
exactly.
like, oh, if you don't like reading, here's a skinny white guy who did a podcast about it. Maybe you'll listen to him. And then people are like, why are you making this about race? And I'm like, because it is. Like I was like crazy. So then I finally went to bed eventually. But if you want to watch that, you should follow us on Twitter. I did it on the Plus This Show account, not my personal. So lots of luck, everyone. That should be fun. And also one last thing, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but Ms. Magazine, which I was hella impressed with, did a full article about the feminist the fat feminist movement, like how fat rights is like a feminist movement, and how the body positive sort of overtaking of that actually is not really great. Like it does it in like a really great balanced way, but like also letting people have it with history. And I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was very educational, and as someone who is trying as much as I can to learn more about not just current fat issues, but like how we got to this place, it was very nice to see like a mainstream magazine go into the history of how, not only how like fat positivity came about, but also like where it kind of branched off from feminism, and also how it kind of changed as feminism was sort of overtaken by people who weren't interested in including everybody. So it was really well done.
Yeah, it's a great piece, and I don't think of Ms. as being like, I don't think of plus size people when I think of that magazine.
Right.
So it was kind of a big deal that they spent that much space to publishing it.
I think when we see sort of people on the outside of the fat positive community try to engage, they have this idea, we've talked about it before, where it's like, yeah, everyone should love themselves and it's puppies and rainbows and unicorns, but they don't know how to talk about the actual facts. And this article really got into what it really means to be fat and intersectional. And they did a really good job of explaining what that means.
Yeah, it's on our page. Go read it. I'm going to read comments. I think Nikki might have texted me while we were on air. So we're going to take a tiny little break, and we'll be back with Kyla and Naomi from Life and Boobs after this.
Promotional consideration provided by Scrubs Body, an all-female-owned business giving you permission to pamper in jars and bottles. Now with a brick-and-mortar location at 245 Main Street in Farmingdale, New York. Still available online at scrubsbody.com.
After show, hopefully we have 10 people. 10 people giving $5.
On the Patreon.
If 10 people give $5 a month, we could do a whole season without getting money from people we don't trust. Isn't that nice? Guys, I'm literally trying to pimp myself to dating apps to try to get us money.
Ooh.
I'm scared. Don't make me do that.
Ooh.
Just give us $5. Hi, we're back. And we're here to talk to two beauties who are in a show called Life and Boobs at the Second City Theater in Hollywood on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. if you're looking for something to do. It's going on until like December, so you have all the time in the world. But get there now, because it'll probably sell out. You know how people like to rush to see things towards the end of the run. So get in now. Get in early. We have Kyla Paige Williams and Naomi Murden with us. Hi. How are you?
So good. It's so cool to be in the room where it happens.
I know.
I'm used to watching it from my computer or on my phone, and now I'm like,
oh, you're so
excited.
sweet. Well, I've been wanting to get you on, dear friend Kyla. And then when I saw you and Naomi in the show, I was like, oh, could that happen? Could I have a world where both of them could be here? And listen, Naomi has plans tonight, guys. Like, she's a birthday girl soon, and her husband has something planned, and she still squished us in. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
She's been celebrating all month.
Yeah,
She has.
I
I'm
do
like,
go
is it
kind
your
of
birthday yet?
crazy.
So now when the birthday comes, I'm like, oh yeah, happy birthday.
Finally, she did it.
That's fine. I need to do that. I think in
Yeah.
July it's going to be July celebrating all month.
All month. Let's do it.
Why not?
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Only
people
once.
want to take me out, I'll go.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm a Leo though. That's how we roll.
okay.
I mean, I'm like that too.
I mean, you're going to Lizzo, so.
I mean, I'm still celebrating.
I can't wait to see the pictures of
Oh
this
my gosh.
sequence.
Let's hope. I mean, I might be like in a nosebleed seat, like all the way up on the rafters.
No,
you will
but
shine.
No.
I will shine like a disco
You're
ball.
gonna get in.
I'm gonna, or I might get in.
Yeah.
Or I might get backstage. Usually in Vegas, I think what they do, at least they did when my friend went to see Robbie Williams. Him and I went, and he did his VIP for his own self, which I understand it was very expensive. I did not get to go, but they meet you ahead of time, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
before
well,
the
that's
show.
cool.
So I don't know how to roll, but we'll see. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways,
We'll be waiting
moving
patiently.
on. Moving on.
Sorry.
We're so
Yeah.
excited.
I could talk
Yeah.
about Lizzo for
Yeah.
2 hours.
I think
Well,
we
we play
could.
her music before
Yes,
we
you
open
do.
every
Yeah,
night. And I
every
was like,
night. And we
this is
dance
amazing.
together,
Yes,
actually. We
backstage,
both
we're-
dance. Yeah.
We might be twerking.
We might be. Yeah.
That's very fun. What I love is that you're both songstresses. Do you see yourselves like as a singer first, or as a comedian first, or an actor first?
Well.
I would say from me, a singer first. But with that comes the acting. I mean, if you're going to be a good performer, you have to tell a story. So they're very close, but singer, I would say, is a little bit above. Yeah.
I think, yes, I'm a singer first, I guess so. It's the first thing I trained in, and then the comedy is the close second. So
I know you have
She's
you have a
funny.
well, because I mean, I got both your bios, and I feel like I can wing it without looking at them, but remind me of things.
Okay.
So you were a student at Second City,
yes,
and also at UCB. You were like,
Yeah.
I'll do them all.
yes, I was very. I'm very poor, so I decided to be an intern at both places. So I was an intern at UCB and at Second City to get that class money. So yeah. But yes, I studied both
Smart.
places because it's good, especially in anything, but as a comedian, to see how everyone does it, and then take what you like and go for it. So,
Yeah, and you write your own pieces as well.
Yes.
Yes. And we might see one of those later on in this. We might have a clip of you
Great.
doing something really fun.
I want to see it.
I know. You're gonna. Well,
Okay.
you might not be able to hear it, though.
Oh.
I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Gloria hasn't seen it, but if you were to describe it to somebody who has yet to see it, how would y'all ladies? What's your pitch?
It's kind of the coming of age of the bosom. So, first you see, we open with a song about like a daughter watching her mom put her bra on. Why are you leaning over? What are you doing? Why are you shoving them in there? But we go from that stage, wishing you could wear one and grow your boobs, to wishing they were bigger, wishing they were smaller, feeding people from them to then we get serious about breast cancer and all that. So it's you'll laugh, you'll cry, and then you'll laugh. Like, we send you home feeling good, but you definitely go through all those emotions. Yeah.
And what's interesting is that even though I'm not a mother and don't consider myself to be one, that stuff felt so honest.
Oh, good.
That it felt like so, like, very, very authentic. And so that made me enjoy it.
Oh, good.
And you're not a mother,
I'm not.
but you do like one of the funniest moments in the show, which is about pumping, which
Yeah.
I never really thought could. I mean, I worked with a woman who pumped, and she breastfed her kid like it past toddler.
Right.
So we always would laugh about that, like, for sure, because in the like in the office, we would just like hear the machine going in
Yeah,
the other
It
room.
makes it does talk to you. That's legit.
Yeah. My
I
brother
remember this.
just had a baby, so his wife is pumping, and he hears words now from
in the club.
from his machine, from the machine. So it's crazy. But yes, I sing a song about breastfeeding or pumping in a bathroom stall at work. And I did a lot of research with my sisters. I was like, what is this like? How? But it's great. I think I'm it's a good song. It's, I hope, funny. And yeah,
It always
people
gets a
seem,
laugh.
you always know when like women have experienced that because they're just laughing a little harder than like
it's always
everyone else.
interesting.
So that's good.
I'm sure I was laughing. I'm the laugher.
Oh, I love your laugh. I was like, that's my friend.
I'm
Every time I would
definitely
hear
loud.
you. But, all of the stories are real. They come from real life situations, from the writer, from Jennifer, who it was her idea. So, whatever you're hearing, these are actual stories from people that, that have experienced these things. So I think that helps. And then we all can relate to it in different ways, whether you're a mom or not. Just, I think that's what really gets people. And that's what we hear from the audience afterwards is, just that they could relate. And what I find interesting is hearing what the men laugh at as opposed to what the women laugh at.
Sure.
That to me is always fun because we have a song about cleavage.
Yes.
And, men staring at it, but women finding power in it. And it's like, I know you want to look, but I'll tell you when it's okay. And sometimes I might use it to my advantage, or sometimes, you're not allowed to, not allowed to get a peek. So it's really fun to hear the audience reactions. And
Can you hear the nervous laughter? Or no? Or are they more silently nervous, like the men in the audience?
Some men are just like, like I do a bit where I go out into the audience, and sometimes it's just they're so uncomfortable.
That's my
Which
favorite.
is great.
yes, it's so
So
fun.
I kind of lean into that. But yeah, I have seen a lot of uncomfortable faces, which is good. They should be uncomfortable because we should be allowed to talk about this.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
very empowering being in this show. And usually if we're at like rehearsal or like I have a dress that is low cut, a little low cut for the show. And when we're doing our rehearsal beforehand, they will be like hanging out, and I'm like, who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
it's liberating.
very liberating, very empowering. So I really like it.
Yeah.
I really wanted there to be like a thing to sign up for women to be able to go around topless. Like I really was like free the nipple. Like that's like an
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I was like they should get on board with that because I was like I'm going to find a petition to free the nipple. This is stupid.
I love
I'll
a
sign
breast
it.
with a message. Nothing as powerful.
They get attention, so people would listen.
Might as well.
Yeah, put some
use-
mess, because
yeah.
they're looking.
Yeah.
Might as well put a word on there or something like, stand for something while we're at it.
Well, what I also found so cool was that, in a town where you don't see, especially in the sketch world, a lot of plus size women, your show has like four
Yeah.
women, which to me was like hella refreshing. The only time I've ever seen that many is in Fetch.
Us, yeah.
Honestly. So I was just wondering, like, can you talk a little bit about your experience in like the sketch world as somebody who's plus size?
Yeah. Gosh, I've never been asked that question before, but it is kind of like on a team, it's like there is usually only one. And it's almost like that has become a thing, which is weird. But yeah, I'm going through all my teams in my head, and I'm like the only one who's plus size, which I've never really thought about it before. But specifically in sketch, it's always been really important to me, like, to embrace being plus size and doing my best to not make fun of myself, but embrace my body. Because, like, Chris Farley gets to be, like, a fat guy in a little coat, and I think it's hilarious. And I'm like, fine, I want to be a fat woman in a little coat. Like, look, my body is funny. It jiggles. That's hilarious. Look at my arm. Look at what it's doing. That's hilarious, you know? Sorry for our listeners. I raised my arm up, and I flayed it around.
Showed us how she works.
And it was funny. But, like, so for that, I'm okay with being, like, a ballerina in a tiny, like, maybe in a too tight outfit, because it's funny. So for that, that's what I try to do in sketch. But also just be funny. Like, who cares that I'm plus size?
Yeah.
This is a funny sketch, or this is a funny point.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yes.
So-
Do you find that sometimes, and maybe in the show this even happened, in like developing stuff, that you feel like you have to sort of stick up for yourself a little bit to? to make sure a joke doesn't go down a path. Whenever I see plus size women on stage and then there's a joke in there with someone who is clearly straight sized talking about how much they hate their fat body or make some kind of fat joke against themselves, every time I'm like, is that necessary? Like, I was just wondering if that ever came up for you guys.
Well, I sing a song called Wife Beater Tank Top.
Yes.
And it's wishing that I looked like this, very put together woman that I noticed at the coffee shop.
That when I saw it was played by like an actual teenager, I think. Like she actually is like 19 or something.
Was
right?
it the blonde?
Yes.
Yeah. She is young and she's amazing.
Of course, we
Shout
all
out
want
to Brooke.
to look
What
like
up,
her.
Brooke? Baby girl.
But so, and at first, my first thought was like, well, am I making fun of myself because I don't look like that? But I think no matter your size, you're always wanting to look you always want something you don't have, So I think when I thought about it that way, I kind of took some of the defensiveness I felt because I didn't want to be laughed at, like, oh, here's this, fat girl singing, wishing she could, because I was literally wearing tank tops to like every rehearsal that I'm singing the song in, and I'm like, I feel great in this. So I always wear. I love having my arms out. I love shoulders. So I'm like, okay. So it doesn't have to be about not loving who I am, but maybe just wanting, admiring something in her. So I think when I flipped it, it helped me, and also just knowing the people who are writing it. These are people who, experience these kind of things as well, and just knowing them and knowing their intent behind it, I think helps too. So
Because that's based off of a real thing too.
yeah.
Yeah,
of our
I mean,
creators.
that was the whole thing. I think that, I think that a lot of these things are real things. It also doesn't mean that they're not fat phobic things. Though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the thing, like when you're saying like, why can't I be the fat person in the little coat or wear the little tutu
Right.
or whatever? It's like, yes, if you are the one who's in power doing that, right? Like if you're the one sort of deciding to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like to be the one who's not put upon, like someone's like tricking you into doing it somehow, or like, if someone is, you're like, screw you, because they don't want you to do the show, then you're still doing the show in the little tiny ballerina. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I'm being spaz. But I do want to ask you guys a question that and I usually do this pretty early on. I'm sorry, it took me a second. Do you guys identify as fat?
I mean, it's a descriptive word, and I don't identify myself as the opposite of fat. So, yes. And it really wasn't until we saw, what was it called again?
Fatitude.
Yeah, Fatitude, that I really even was aware that this was like a thing. And it made me feel more powerful, because it's like, yeah, it's not, it's the power that you put into the word that makes it offensive or not. And to me, it's like, it's just kind of a descriptor. It's like, yeah, I'm fat, so, it is what it is.
Just so you know what Fatitude is, there is an amazing documentary called Fatitude, and it has like all the great minds, Marilyn Wan, Lindy West, like anybody who has written about being fat or talked about being fat is in there, and it kind of breaks down like the hypocrisies of fat phobia, really, and it's really powerful.
It's so
and
eye-opening.
Plus,
yeah.
this last season hosted a screening of it, and Kyla got to come.
Yeah.
She was really supportive.
Yeah, it really opened my eyes, to just that whole side of things I never really thought about, and just embracing it and using it and kind of taking the word back, which I can relate to in other aspects of my life, like being a Black woman, and you can relate to it in different ways. So I was like, okay, you just take the word and embrace it, and yeah, it's like, so what? So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
my
yes, I'm
answer.
fat. Yes, very proud of it. But yeah, I don't really think about it anymore. I think when I was younger, oh gosh, it was horrible. It was the worst thing that you could be. And I think it's hard because, your families and your friend kind of perpetuates it too. When like you're achieving so much, but you lost 10 pounds and that's the thing they focus on.
Right.
I think that's the most frustrating thing about being a fat person, when you're like in an amazing show or you've like booked a role on like a TV show or whatever, but people just want to talk about how you look, or like, oh, good for you. Or I've started running again just because I generally enjoy running. And a mailman said, "Keep it up" to me.
Gosh.
And I was just like, what do you mean keep it up? I've been running for 5 years.
And would you ever say that to a thin person? No. Ever. Would you ever say that to a
Keep
thin
it
person?
up? You keep it up.
Yeah. You keep delivering
Like little, like micro
aggressions
are just like ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what one of the other hot topics we have on the agenda is talking about that. There was an article about that, like using the word fat as something that takes away those microaggressions from people. Like people use euphemisms to like dig you. Yeah. Instead of just using the word fat, because but I didn't call you fat, right? I said these other things. That was also kind of an amazing article that I was glad to hear that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what comes to my mind is there's an article where J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter fame says that, she ran into someone she had gone to high school with or something, and they were like, "Oh my God, you've lost weight," and she was like, I've also written a shit ton of books, and I'm also J.K. Rowling. Yeah, and that was the thing.
She's like the most successful.
That was the thing.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Crazy. That's why I said those people that troll, they all wanted their gold stars. Like they want awards for losing weight, and I'm like, what if that's just not important anymore? And it makes people want to scream. Like people get really mad when you try to take that away from them.
Yeah.
Because it also is such a mind fuck, isn't it? It's such a mind fuck. Like, because dieting literally doesn't work. And yet, so when someone is on that part of it where they feel like it's working, it feels like a miracle, and it feels like you have really achieved something. And then when it doesn't work, because it doesn't work, your body, it literally like cries out for nutrition.
And I mean, they see someone who is, happy at not having to do all these crazy things and not going through like a psychosis that makes you obsess over everything you eat, and they see that person being happy, then it kind of invalidates like all the work they've done. And I think that's what I've seen.
They have to go a little deeper on themselves and know it's not just about how you look.
Exactly. I've seen a lot more. That's where I see sort of that anger come from other women who don't like that I get to feel good.
Yeah, it is such a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Naomi writes things too.
Yeah.
And we have a little clip of one of her numbers.
Wow.
And that we're going to show you, and then we're going to come back to Plus This.
Okay.
You're not anyone until you're body shamed. Until you're body shamed. Isn't that insane? Take this list of women here to my heart are very dear. After they got shamed from ear to ear, big things happened in their career. Smart, intelligent Tina Fey, that amazing lady got body shamed. Then all those Emmys she did claim. Serena Williams, greatest of all time, is no stranger to that body crime. That's why she wins all those Grand Slams. She's doing fine. You're not anyone.
You're
Till
not
your body
anyone
shamed.
till your body shamed.
Well, I'm someone.
It's a good one.
Thank you so much.
It's a good one. What inspired that?
I did a BuzzFeed video, and I've done, I think, 3 BuzzFeed videos. And on this particular one, it was like it was inspired by Queer Eye. So, but 2 women came and helped me get ready for my friend's wedding, which they actually did. They helped me pick out an amazing dress and like got me ready, packed for New York and everything. So it was so much fun. And it was about me like building my confidence to go to this like big wedding in New York and meet all these people I've never met before. And then a lot of people in the comments were just like, "You're not going to tell her to diet? You're not going to tell her to no exercise regime in place before she goes to the wedding?" And it was so frustrating. I'm like, you missed the point of this whole experience I went through of these two wonderful women, like, really helping me and giving me confidence. So I was just like, you know what? I am over it. And then all our favorite people have been body shamed. Everyone has been body shamed.
That's very true.
So I've just was like, I'm going to write a song about it. And
I'm glad
there
you
it
did.
was. There
I'm
it is.
so glad you did.
Yes.
So I just want to say that Nikki, she's texting me about something else. She just had some kind of like intuition, I think. I don't know if she's watching the show. Nikki is my co-host who has to take a little break right now. But my sister's also still celebrating her birthday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday.
And we were just talking during the break. Great things happen. And Kyla made a great point. And she was like, I really feel like this body positivity thing is kind of like all lives matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you expand on that
I don't
a little
know.
bit?
When reading that article, that's the first thing that came to mind. And it's like, not everything is for everyone. Like, let us have something and, just you can support us, but it doesn't have to be directly about you. And that's kind of what I felt like when reading that. Because at first, I never even had thought about like body positivity. I thought, well, that's great. Everyone can support each other. But separately, it can be just about fat people and the support that they need directly. And that's, that came to mind because it seems very similar. It's like how everyone wants it to be about everyone when we can really just support one group who's going through something. So
yeah, and I would think that there is 2% of women are actually happy with their bodies when they do things. 2% of women wouldn't change a thing about their bodies. Yeah, exactly. So it's not like body stuff isn't universal. Like it is. But someone who is a size 6 who hates their body gets to shop in a store, gets to travel wherever they want, gets to fit in seats at theaters. You know what I mean? Like doesn't get the a bad diagnosis at the doctor. Doesn't you know what I mean? So doesn't get paid less. So there's like a real marginalization that happens at a certain weight, and it's just true. I read something, I think it was in Dr. Bacon's book Health at Every Size, or maybe it was Body Respect, that doctors when someone is 17 pounds overweight, that's like the average, is when doctors treat you differently. Oh, wow. So it's true that it's not just plus size people, right? Like this body bias is like a thing that affects everybody, but not in the same degrees. Right. And I think that you're right, like by saying body positivity without going to the nitty gritty of actual marginalization is a real problem. Were you going to say something, Gloria?
Just that whenever I talk about like the work we do with Fetch, I inevitably will have someone who is very thin and tell me about their body issues. And I want to be compassionate and say, I understand, because I know you also have these things going on in your life, but you have to be aware, you have to recognize that your experience is still very privileged. Like even like for me, like I am fat and I do experience some of the discrimination, but I also am very aware that I can shop at a Walmart or a Target. Like you have to be aware that just because you're not experiencing a thing doesn't mean that it shouldn't be addressed or that you get to take that away from other people. So if you are experiencing those things as someone who's not fat, it's okay to know that they're there, but give us some space to speak on the things that affect us directly.
Yeah. Like I said, like a woman who is a certain size is not gonna be harassed for running or condescended to for running.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's actually one of the big ones. We've had Reagan Chastain, who writes a blog, Dances with Fat, and she's a fat athlete. She considers herself a fat athlete, and like she wants to start a campaign because she cannot go to the gym without being like condescended to or like someone trying to give her advice or you know what I mean? So because they assume she's there to lose weight and she's like, no, I'm just trying to get my skills up. And what's fascinating is when you go and watch Sarah Robles, for example, who's an Olympic weightlifter, and she shows all of this like gym footage of her working for the Olympics, and she's training for the Olympics, and there's someone in the background always like like criticizing, being critical, like wondering what she's doing, and then they see what she's doing and they're literally like, oh. And like, so it's like and she is constantly like, no dude, I don't need you to spot me. Like she's like constantly on Instagram like step off, and she's like a nice Christian girl, like she's not me, like I don't like
Just rolling in with your medals,
yes.
wearing them while you're working out.
Like, oh yeah, I'd definitely be that person. But it is interesting that this is something that even when I hang out with fat women all the time, and because of Fatch that like has blessed me with that, and of course just like doing this show and like going to places where like fat parties are, like there at the fat party, but then going into thin spaces and being the only person, and like we were just talking about this, you were going out with your castmates.
Yeah, this show about body positivity, I'm the only fat person involved in it in any way. I didn't get a chance to meet the writer, so I don't know about her, but the director and the other actors are... This is a show about body positivity, and we went out to eat after the show, and I was the only one who like ordered what I wanted. Everyone ordered things and then took a lot of things off, and then there was a series of interactions where everyone was like, I need to get away from these things or I'm going to eat them. Like, It was interesting that I, the only fat person, was the one that just ate what I wanted. And then when I couldn't finish my burrito, just took it home. Like I wasn't upset that it was in front of me.
Yeah. It's once you're free from it, it's kind of crazy being around that space. But it also is, I think, such a power play. Like people... Like you kind of have to have the language to talk about it. Like, because if someone said something to you, they would feel like they were in the know, right? They would feel like they have a right to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself up until recently, whenever I would talk about my health, I would always say that caveat of like, well, I know I could do better, or well, I know I'm not the healthiest person, and I had to stop myself from saying that because I am healthy. My size doesn't mean I'm not healthy, but because I get told that all the time for no reason from people who don't know those things, I let it become part of the way I speak about myself.
It's like training. Speaking of training, I read about this and I didn't share it on our page because I don't want nobody trying it. There's this thing. Have you heard about this?
What?
Girls putting strings around their body because if they get to a place where they feel the pressure of the string, they know they have to slim down. And the idea is that you get small enough so that the string just falls off of you.
What?
And they're calling it Egyptian. Like they're like the ancient Egypt. I go, bitch, those ancient Egyptians did not do that.
Oh my God.
First of all, they lifted heavy stones
They're busy
and were
here.
enslaved. That's not what the slaves were doing because they needed to slim down.
Imagine like you have something that every time you look at yourself in the mirror, every time you're naked and wearing nothing but a string, it constantly reminds you that you're not quite right. It just makes me so sad. Why do we still feel we have to do that?
Yeah. And that it's like some sort of secret thing that, I mean, it just feels so culty, really.
Yeah. Well, also just it's like a chain. It's a chain
literally.
around your body.
Yeah.
I just want to like take all of them and just rip them apart. Like
mine would be
forget it.
busted by noon. So
Yeah.
it's fine. It would last all day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I have not heard that.
Yeah, it's like a thing. It's like a thing. And it's so, when I like Googled it, I was like, what? And then I Googled it and I was like, they are not trying to blame this on black people. Like, what are you doing? Why are you crazy?
I've seen that like women recognize it on other women, and that's how I learned about it, because someone recognized it and I didn't know what it was. And when I heard, it just made me so sad.
I know.
Yeah.
Thin women need to get free because it's thin. I don't think fat women do that.
No, I feel like it'd get lost in my roles. Like I would lose it.
Mine would like roll up to here and like hang out. In my smallest part. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, so you consider like bodies are different shapes
Yeah.
too, and it also
Yeah.
depends on that. Like,
Yeah.
because you can lose all the weight you want, but if like you've got some hips,
booty,
it's not gonna
yeah.
come off
some
for
things
you.
just stay the same.
like
Yeah.
not all women are supposed to be straight down.
Yeah.
Almost none of us are.
I mean, it's like the same as how clothes are designed for like 14-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Like we don't look like that.
Very
So
true.
the idea that the string is just supposed to like fly off of you somehow.
Yeah, it's very true. There's a couple people who are designing things and they're doing like all different body shape, like all different kinds of body shape. They're cutting their clothes like so you're not just getting a 10, like you're getting like a 10 this curves or it's so cool. Yeah, it's like
Sign me
10
up.
with a it's like you're a 16 with a belly, you're a 16 with a booty or yeah, I
That's
know. I'm
good.
so excited.
Woo,
I feel
where?
like it's
Take
someone
me.
in England, guys. I'm sorry.
Your husband could take you.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I mean, those mean British people were mean to you on the internet.
They were.
But when I go to England, which I go often,
your hubby's
my husband
from
is
there.
British, so we go back a lot. But they have so many choices. A majority of my clothes are from England because they have up to a size like, what, 28? Like just in normal shops. And it's amazing and very freeing. And I was like, what? I can buy underwear in a normal
At like a
place?
department store.
It was great.
That's
it's
great.
pretty
I
cool.
would. I mean, if you wanted to sponsor a shopping trip there, I wouldn't mind going.
Okay, let's go.
Let's start a
find a
GoFundMe.
way.
We leave December 16th.
Perfect, guys. It's that time we have to roll.
this was
I
so
can't
much
even believe it's so
fun.
short. Please, okay. So we've been plugging like Life and Boobs. So it's Life and Boobs musical. If you go on Instagram, if you needed any more details, but it's 10 o'clock on Saturday nights.
Yes.
Right in Hollywood at Second
there.
City Hollywood. There's a lot of cute restaurants around there. We totally went out before, me and my friend. So, and that's going to December 14th?
Yeah.
Yep. December 14th is our
Excellent,
final
excellent.
show.
And where else can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at Naomi Murden. I have a YouTube page called What's Her Name? Or What's Her Name, sorry. And
What's on your YouTube page? What you do there?
I do interviews, sketches. I'm also part of a all-female sketch group called Walk of Shame. We've got a lot of great videos up on our YouTube page as well, so check those out.
Fun. And Miss Kyla.
I stay busy teaching the little ones music. So I have my own music business where I go to different preschools or moms groups, and I also teach voice lessons. So I'm, during the day I'm teaching, or I teach also at the senior center in Calabasas.
at you.
Teach a voice class there. So I'm running, from babies to great grandmas. I'm teaching. I'm bringing music
That's awesome.
to the people.
And she's
So,
great, guys. You should totally
Thank
hire
you.
her. And Gloria, tell them about your podcast.
Yes, I have a podcast. It's called Noveleando Podcast. It's all about Spanish language telenovelas.
But it's not in Spanish.
It's not in Spanish. It's in English. We sometimes will use some Spanish in there, but it is in English. So if you love the drama, check us
And
out.
thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here.
Thank
It's
you
such
for
a fun
having
night.
us. It
I'll
was fun.
totally. If you stalk me this weekend at La Dice, which is my personal, I'll try to put some plus this stuff on there too. But that's my Instagram to be with Lizzo in Vegas. Also Patreon. Reagan Chastain just did an amazing video for us because we did like a silent video with her after by accident, and as a silent film, it wasn't that compelling, and I didn't know what exactly we were saying. I would have been doing that lip reading thing
my gosh.
that one person does. So she did like a whole new thing and was talking all about trolls, and if it makes you feel better that you're not the only person getting trolled or like how she handles trolls, it's just great, and she'll make you laugh. So if you $5, guys, $5 will get you all of our after the show videos, and we've had incredible after the show videos, and we're gonna do it with these two ladies later. Maybe we'll be
Wow.
singing, I don't know. So we'll see you next week. God bless this.